Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Decade. Excuse me. Whew. So, welcome 2020 in the first energy forecast of the year. Um, Definitely check out the Cosmic Shadow Light forecast. It's a membership subscription service, and we're going to be focusing in on a cycle of ritual with dedication to the goddess. And you get to pick out your own goddess to work with for the year. So I'm really excited about where that is going this year, especially with that aspect of ritual. And each ritual will be paired with a companion workshop. So you'll have workshop to understand what we're doing in the ritual. So it's all kind of meshes together, along with a more in-depth monthly collective energy reading, PDF, webinar, workshops, rituals. There's a lot going on in there that's really fun and useful for your year. So, and it's each month new content comes out, and also, yeah, I'm just excited where that's going this year. So, let's get into the reading. I have the Wheel of Fortune Tarot, which is Major Arcana only still at this point. They're working on the rest of it. This is a great deck. It's beautifully done. It's old school photography. So, yeah, it's just really cool. I was so excited when I heard they were working on the rest of the deck. So, we got Death. Put this away. So, what do you need to change this year? This is also 2020 when you add it up equals 4. And in Tarot, the Emperor corresponds to 4. So it's also an Emperor year. And I would say with Death, in working with the Emperor, it's where are you putting off building your infrastructures within yourself? Or are you working on old, outdated infrastructures within yourself? How can you update all your systems within yourself? And that's your behavior patterns, mindset patterns, how you talk to yourself, how you move through the world. How can you transform this into something else? Move beyond what you think you are into what you can be. And see where that takes you this year. The Emperor for me is a card really of creating your internal and self infrastructure, of creating what you need to really function well. And when you pair that with Death, which is a transformation, you get an energy that has you internally working very deeply in what needs to go, what needs to stay, what's being retired. And a lot of times I think of letting go as like retirement. It's like what's not really working for you can be retired. We don't need to cut it out, rip it out of ourselves, because a lot of times those behaviors started off with super good intentions or served a purpose at a point in time for you. My hands are really cold today. So look at where you need to transform, especially internally. Start there and then let it expand out. And I grabbed the Enchanted map because I haven't used this in a while and I really enjoy this deck. And I thought, well, we've got a tarot card for the guide card, so we'll pull 2 for Okay, I like these. So we have, first card is protecting treasures. And I feel like this plays well with that whole transformation thing, because by transforming, you are protecting the best parts of you. By letting what's not working so well get new skills, be retired, you protect the most valued part of yourself. So, how are you going to protect you? And this includes things like boundaries, knowing when you've had too much of whatever and you just need a break from whatever that is. Yeah, it's a wide thing. There's a lot you can do here. So don't think, oh, I'm just going to protect my treasures. But what do you treasure? What is a part of you that needs more protection? Where do you need to put up your boundaries and use them? And not hold to your status quo that may not be working. Now, if your status quo is humming along, working fine, awesome. Look at where you can refine that. Because no matter how well you're doing, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, there's always room for refinement and be like, okay, so, and learning too. Refinement and learning are two areas that really should be treasured and worked with a lot more. I think they are. But this feels like the protecting the internal self. Where do you need to go with this? This reading is almost very internal as opposed to external for this first month of the year. So you got death, asking us to bring in transformation. We got protecting our treasures, which is asking us to look at how we're working with ourselves, what's working, what's not, how can we have boundaries that are healthy. And then we have home. I think this is such a pretty card. And home feels more like, what is the environment you're setting up at home? Where does that need some transformation? Where does that need more energy? Do you need to, do you have a bunch of what I call critters, those little shadow creatures? They're often, you catch them on the corner of your eye and like, that need to be cleansed and kicked out. They're harmless. They're just annoying. Critters are just little energy creatures. They don't do much except be annoying because you're always catching something out of the corner of your eye. I had a bunch a few years ago and I'm just like, oh, I'm done with you. Did a house cleansing. Sealed stuff up. Set my guardian on everything that's not supposed to be here. So look at those things, and that includes the energy of your home. So if you have a ton of critters, use a house cleansing to get rid of them. A little salt water and incense goes a long way. Flick, flick, flick. I've also used my crystal pyramid to clear energy from the house. But if it depends really on what it is. Sometimes that old school stuff just works really well, like the salt water and the incense kind of clearing. So look at where your home is. How is your home situation? What's the energy within your home? And do you like it? Do you need to do some cleansing? Do you need to maybe put up some art that makes you happy? Things like that. What books obviously make me very happy because they're everywhere in my world. And I read my books and I reread my books and I enjoy my books. They make me happy. So I have books. What makes you happy? Like my books make me happy. What's that kind of thing that you need in your home that's going to foster in, what's the word? Into something that you feel comfortable and want to go enjoy. And I think that's the big thing. How do you want to enjoy your home? Okay. Grab a information card. I create energy flows. So know how much you're just doing this. Let's put it this way. It doesn't matter whether you're doing this intentionally or not. You are creating energy flows. And the more intentional you get with that energy flow, the better it's going to be. So intentionally create your energy flows as we start into the new year. What do you want to permeate through your year, through your life? What are those energies that you're really bringing in for that year? I do this by I tend to work with my tarot year card in depth and also a word of the year. So I have Wheel of Fortune in 2020 for my tarot year card. And then I have shift as my word of the year. And so we're going to see where those two take me, because the Wheel of Fortune has obviously got a lot of movement and up and down action going to it. And what needs to shift? What needs to have a little bit of a shakeup in my life? Those are intentional energy flows I'm using for 2020. How can I bring those in? How can I observe how they show up in my life? And sometimes, too, when you pick those things, you have to step back and just let them show up and hear that lesson. Because sometimes they're not what you think they should be. And when you make them try and fit into the box of what you decided it should be, it doesn't work so well. I've been there, done that. It was kind of like, ooh, not so working. So let's do a quick recap here, if I can get my cards in order. So we have death. We're looking at transformation. It's a new year. Even if the calendar is a man-made creation, there is still a magic you can use there to help bring in transitions, transformations for the butterfly. See where it takes you this year and look to your internal systems and what needs transforming, upgrading, refining, retirement, new tools. Sometimes if you give an old habit some new tools to work with, it can become a very productive one. So, and we're protecting the treasures of self by going through this transformation with death, and also looking at where we need to set our boundaries. And sometimes that's even with boundaries with self. Perfectionism is often something that I know a lot of people who push their own boundaries with that and kind of violate their own boundaries with like being very harsh upon themselves because it's not perfect. So things like even that, boundaries are sometimes internal too, not just external. What are your internal boundaries too? So also have good, healthy external ones so you're not being run over. And home. Looking at home energy, what you want to bring in, how you want that home to feel, be welcoming and comforting, and someplace you want to go hang out, not someplace you want to escape from. And you're always creating energy flows whether you want to or not. So get intentional about it and bring in the energies you want in a manner that works for you. Word of the year, tarot year card works very well for me. I do a lot of art, and that's also another way I bring in energies and sustain energies throughout my year. So, okay, let's do a little light language before we go. Jamandage daloshini kitadani kota podalashika. Hatrushita mogadibidi. Taniki dani siti ho hundrakatani. Hanakadaboshe ke. Jenikita da janakata mo. Betekitadin dani. Toshikanami gedalama. Ege I makadish kona ibikepe. Bonakidara gishimihi. Bonakidaba demike. Demike baka ishimite pohe. Ajomi kena halashe. Jaka hahi ulmi. Benikidaraga. Agalike mi. Jumititi kopra. Praprete konishri. Hobadashinu udun. Ikitaim cha. All right, everyone go out there and have a wonderful January. Have a great start to your new year, and I'll see you in February with the February forecast. Bye-bye.